All right. So just however it is you're showing up this evening, whatever is going on for you, just know that it's perfectly fine. You're okay just as you are. And check your body. If you're sitting at a desk, feet are flat on the floor, sits bones raised, hands in the meditation mudra, shoulders are aligned with the hips, and just lengthen your spine. Just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. And imagine someone's above you, just very gently lengthening the spine, putting some space in between those vertebrae. Just letting go, releasing all the muscles along the back of the spine. Just imagine your head just very slightly tipping forward, eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose and the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Relax the jaw. Bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, eyes, nose, and the mouth. And bring the attention to the back of the head and relax the scalp there. Release any tension. And relax the ears and the inner ear and the temples and the jaw and the back of the tongue. Just imagine releasing any tension in the back of the tongue. Release any tension in the back of the neck and the shoulders, the shoulder blades, allow them to drop down. And relax the neck, chest and belly, limbs, hands, fingers and feet and toes. And bring the mind to the breath. Just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. If there's any sounds in your environment that are distracting you, try not to follow them with your mind. Try not to go off and investigate. Just bring the mind back to the breath. And then just notice what thoughts are arising. And again, try not to judge. It's okay what's coming up. It's just what is. We don't have to do anything about it. Just allow it. Try not to engage or follow. Then you'll notice those thoughts will dissipate. So you can put yourself on the bank of our river. Just watch this river of mental moments flow on by. And as long as you're not engaged, as long as you're not in the river, you're free. And very briefly bring to mind all our people of our life, our loved ones, people we have a little bit difficulty with, or a lot of difficulty with. And then there's those complete and utter strangers who we tend not to care about, but they are equal to our loved ones in their wish to be happy, the wish to be free from suffering, and this amazing potential that we all have for enlightenment. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening, this purification practice for the benefit of all these beings and for ourselves as we're slowly moving along our path. So just imagine, remember, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification practice is basically a psychological one. So we create all the negativity we create it with our mind. All the delusions start in the mind. It's in the mind. Everything else follows on from there. But we can change it. We can create positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day and in this life and in all past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of future suffering. We know from our present suffering or any present problems we have, we don't really want to invite any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds, for they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I am sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think, I'm sick of this suffering. So what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to Vajrasattva, who we see as the doctor. He's the Buddha, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And when we're not asking Vajrasattva to forgive us, we're not kind of looking for some higher power just to deal with it for us on our behalf. We're doing the work ourselves. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods, his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can also imagine that this is your teacher, your guru, however you see that person, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, born out of our delusions, yet untainted by them. And he has this beautiful, radiant, blissful face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He doesn't have any judgmental or critical thoughts towards you or anybody else. He just wants to help. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood, so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have this little bit here on compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us. So we develop compassion for them. This is a wish for them to be free from suffering. And think particularly of people you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then maybe in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. So then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because they are going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, the doing of the practice of purification. And there are three stages to this meditation, consisting of visualization and recitation of the mantra. So we start with the body. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, very forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps coming out until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left. As we recite the mantra. Excuse me for my noise. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So the next is the purification of speech. And imagine Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, and all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you and overflowing as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasata me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dudamibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Sapokaya Mibawa, Anarakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dudamibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Sapokaya Mibawa, Anarakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. Imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And the next is a purification of your mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a room and switch on a light. That light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and anger and depression and resentment, anxieties and grudges and bitternesses, and jealousies, all instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anarakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anarakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anarakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anarakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anarakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anarakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibawa, Sutokaya Mibawa, Supokaya Mibawa, Anarakta Mibawa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. So again, be delighted that all of the delusions in the mind, which are also the source of all of your own suffering, all of our own suffering, and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. They're gone. And think now there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of body, speech, and mind. So it's just like an extra wash. So if you wish, you can do a couple of mantras for each of those visualizations of the body, speech, and mind we've just done. Or you can just imagine light and nectar pouring in, filling you completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa anarakta mebawa sawasiti mempi yatsa sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So now feel you are completely purified and not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. And that's your enlightenment, obscurations to your enlightenment. So next is the power of resolve, and the fourth step in the purification process. And this is just a really crucial step. We just have to decide. I mean, before we do anything, we need to decide, I'm going to go on a diet, or I'm going to go and study this, or I'm going to go to meditation tonight. We have to make a decision before we go and do something. Otherwise, we're just freewheeling. So it's the same here. Just decide that you want to refrain. I think we can't say never again am I going to harm another human being with my body, speech, and mind, because it's maybe we have too many habits. It might be too difficult. So just think of something that's useful for you, a timeline that's useful, that's helpful. 5 minutes once an hour, 30 seconds once an hour, overnight while I'm sleeping. I will refrain from eating too much chocolate. I will refrain from swearing or kicking the cat, or whatever it is you do. And this determination to not do again is what gives us the strength, the courage to change. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call that union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level your mind understands emptiness, just place it there for a moment. And this way you can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. For His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lamas of Rinpoche, Tub Shul Chang Shin Jam Gon Galloway, Tenzin Kyang Pelway, Kunzo Dog Porze, Jog Sum Kurwe Leg Mon Tu Drub, Dog Sog Dulje, Kondu Jab Ten Shok. For Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. Because you share a beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay. Not only has the session gone quickly, but the week has just gone. I feel like my life is just flying by. All right, everybody. Thank you so very much for hosting. I guess that was you, Michael. Was it Shayla? Who was hosting? It was you. Okay. Thank you. Lots of love, everybody. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you Monday. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable.